Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Maximilian Hart here for StudyPenguin.com. And today I'm going to be giving you a couple resources. And by a couple, I mean 5. It's going to be probably a little bit shorter, but these are 5 apps that I think are among the most useful for students. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1 is TRELLO. For me, this is my personal favorite app. I wish I had this app when I was in school. I wish I knew about this website. It's a website, it's a mobile app, it works great across both. There is some functionality that's more on the website. But ultimately, this app is one that will keep you organized. It's essentially a to-do list app. You can create a board, and on that board you can create a list, and in that list you can put items, they call them cards, and within each card you can have description, information, you can link out to things, you can attach things like a Google Doc if you're working on something. You can add due dates to it. You can add checklists to it. It's super helpful. And you can even do things like tracking your time, how long you take to work on individual cards if you so desired. But ultimately, Trello is an app. Trello is a website and app that I think you can get a lot out of because it helps keep you organized. It helps you do stuff and make sure you're not missing anything. And I've talked a lot about to-do lists recently. But it's basically, this is where I keep my to-do list. It's the best place so far that I've found for that. And it's not just that. You can do a lot of other things with this app. So Trello is my number 1 recommendation for you guys. The second one is Forest. Now, Forest is an app that is basically a glorified Pomodoro timer. Now, if you don't know what a Pomodoro timer is, if you go to StudyPenguin.com, on the right-hand side, you'll see links to an article about the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro technique is basically a way of studying and a way of focusing that lets you study for 25 minutes. You focus, 100% focus for 25 minutes. You set a timer. And then after that 25 minutes, you take a break. 5 minutes, you can do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. So long as it's legal and you're not going to get yourself in trouble doing it. It's a study break, 5-minute study break. And that's a half an hour chunk. And then after every 4 Pomodoros, they call them, that 25-minute intense focus time. After every 4 Pomodoros, you take a little bit longer of a break. So every 2 hours, you're taking a solid, 15-minute break, and you're getting those 5-minute breaks scattered throughout. But in that 25 minutes, you will get so much done if you are 100% focused. And Forest is an app that helps keep you focused, because what it does is you set a timer, and you can actually set a varying, length timer. 25 minutes is the default, and it's what I would recommend you use. But you can set this timer, and when the timer starts, a little tree starts to grow. And as long as you don't leave that app, that tree will continue to grow. But if you leave the app, the tree will die. It's a little pixelated tree on your screen, and it's nothing terribly soul-shattering if it dies. But it's one of those things where just that extra knowledge, and you pick up your phone and you see your tree is still growing, and you're like, oh, I can wait 10 minutes, to respond to this Snapchat or whatever. So it's one of those things where it just helps keep you focused, to save those things for that 5-minute break. And in that 5 minutes, you can check your phone, you can respond to Snapchat, so you can scroll through Instagram or whatever. But for those 25 minutes, Forest is an app that will help keep you focused. If you pay I think it's $2 on the App Store to unlock all of the everythings, they will actually plant real life trees based on how many trees you plant. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, otherwise they'd run out of places to plant trees. But the more trees you plant, they will actually plant real life trees. So it's definitely more of a motivation, and you can share with your friends and track your progress and all that kind of stuff. But you see on this little plot of land how many trees you've grown in the past day, week, month, year. So it's kind of cool. So I would definitely recommend Forest to help keep you focused. So Trello will keep you organized. Forest will keep you focused. And then the third app that I would recommend for you is QUIZLET. QUIZLET.com is actually a website, and they have an app that goes with it, but it is an incredible website. It's amazing for learning volumes of information in a flashcard type format. And the reason that makes it, the thing that makes it amazing, is that they have a number of different tools within this website, a number of different activities that you can do to help you learn the flashcards that you make. First, you have to make the flashcards, although sometimes you will be able to find and search public flashcards. But make them yourself, that's one way of learning them. It's just like making flashcards by hand. Except on Quizlet, you can do a bazillion different activities. You can play Quizlet live with some friends or whatever, so you're competing against each other. You can do the learn feature has spaced repetition built in. You can say, I want to learn these 100 words, and then you keep doing this learn feature. If you do that every day, you will learn all those faster than you would just by going through all 100 every day. So it has spaced repetition built in, and it's a well thought out app. It's well designed. There's a lot of cool features in it, and basically it's the best way that I've found. That I use it in my classroom. I use it for myself sometimes, but I use it because it is one of the best ways of learning information in a flashcard type format. These people at Quizlet, they got it down right. So Trello to keep you organized, Force to keep you focused, Quizlet for learning flashcard stuff, and then GoodNotes. I was a little unsure about including this one because I don't actually use it myself. I have never used GoodNotes. I have used Notability, which is a competitor to GoodNotes. And after doing some research today on what a lot of people use, and you'll see on Instagram in particular, a lot of people use GoodNotes and then post how cool their notes look. But I think Notability or GoodNotes, either one is useful. But GoodNotes, I think, takes the cake for me, at least from what I've seen, because it's one of the best ways if you want to take notes on an iPad. GoodNotes is probably the way to go because you can just the organizational features are a little bit easier to navigate. It's a little bit easier to customize what you want to do, to highlight, erase only the things that you want to erase. If you're an auditory learner and you need to, for whatever reason, you need to record your lectures, Notability is the way to go because you can actually record things and take notes at the same time. And then when you play back the recording, it'll like show you what notes you were taking at what time along with this recording. So it makes it easy to find the information again, and to listen to it and refresh your memory on those notes. So GoodNotes, I think, is a little bit better of an app. It's a little bit more polished and you have a lot more customization available to you. But GoodNotes or Notability, either one. I'm going to say GoodNotes officially. Because you can use both, I believe. You can use both to do this, to annotate PDFs, but I think only GoodNotes keeps the outline format of PDF. So if a PDF has a built-in outline and built-in table of contents, GoodNotes will preserve that where Notability will not. So if you have PDF textbooks, GoodNotes for sure is the way to go. So Trello to keep you organized, Force to keep you focused, Quizlet for learning flashcard type stuff, GoodNotes for taking notes on an iPad. And then the last one I would say is Evernote. Evernote is like, there are a lot of competitors in Evernote space, whether it's Microsoft OneNote. I used that in high school, in college, before I found out about Evernote. Google Keep, I think, is one. Just straight up Google Docs. But I will say, I think Evernote's probably the best. And what it's amazing for is if you take notes on your computer. If you take notes on your computer, you have to try Evernote if you have not already. You can basically create notebooks in this app, and then you can, as you're browsing the internet, if you have their plugin or whatever, you can save it to Evernote in its own thing. It's fantastic for research. So as you're researching things, you can save this article to Evernote, and then you can go through them later, and they're all searchable later on in Evernote. So it's an incredible resource to have for researching things. So if you take notes on the computer, you can use it. You can create to-do lists, checklists. You can do outlines. You can link from card to card. You can attach anything you want. You can share notebooks with classmates if you're working on a group project and things like that. So it's perfect, actually. In my opinion, if I was in like high school or college right now, what I would use this for is in class, I would take handwritten notes. Probably not even on an iPad. I would take handwritten notes, just the way I learned. I would take handwritten notes and then use Evernote to type them up, include a picture of my handwritten notes, because you can do that, to include a picture, to type them up, and that makes them all searchable for later review, and that typing up process is review itself. So that's what I would do to use it. I'm going to actually include in the show notes here and in the description on the YouTube video a link to a video that will give you some more ideas for things that you can use and ways that you can use Evernote. she's got the name of the person who made the YouTube video is Clarissa. She has a great channel. You should check her out. But she gives some ideas for ways in which you can use Evernote. So check that out if you're interested and you're a little bit on the fence. You can actually also do to-do lists in Evernote and keep things in one place instead of using Trello and Evernote. I like Trello just because of the way that the flow and format of it works. I think it's better for to-do lists specifically, but you can do just a straight up to-do list in Evernote if you'd like as well. So Trello to keep you organized, Forest to keep you focused, Quizlet for learning any kind of flashcard type stuff, GoodNotes for taking notes on an iPad and for annotating PDFs, and then for taking notes on the computer, for compiling research, for just organizing the rest of your academic life in general, Evernote. So between those 5 apps, you have pretty much everything that you need to be successful organizationally, with the exception of, I'll say, because it's sort of like a staple, Google Docs. Google Drive, Google Docs, you need that. If you're writing a paper, you should be working in Google Docs, in my opinion, because of the cloud saving feature. I've had people, and I know students, I've had it happen to my students, I've had it happen to me, where something happens, something weirds out, and you lose work in Microsoft Word. It will never happen on Google Docs. You will never lose a single word of your entire billion-page whatever. Not once. Your computer could go up in smoke and spontaneously combust, and you will not lose a period of your work if you work in Google Docs. So that alone, that peace of mind alone, is worth using Google Docs, in my opinion, because besides the fact that it's a perfectly full-featured word processor now, and there's really no reason not to use it, except for perhaps for privacy reasons, which is a legitimate concern for some people. So these 5 apps, I think, are what you would need: Trello, Forest, Quizlet, GoodNotes, and Evernote. And between them, you've got pretty much what you need to be a successful student. And I think they're going to be the ones that will help you out the most. If you got questions, go ahead and ask me on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube comments. Hit me up in any way. Let me know what apps you use that you find most helpful, and I may do a follow-up to this someday. So what apps do you use that I did not talk about that you consider completely indispensable to being a good student? Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night or evening or whatever it is, wherever you are all around the world. And don't forget to never stop learning. Bye-bye.